1, 2, 3, 4!
A lot of people, they ask you, what style of music do you play? So I kind of came up with my own name for the style. And I call it swingin' funky jazz and blues with occasional ballads and bossa novas. I don't take a lot of chances musically. I just take it straight down Broadway. I was writing tunes real young. I didn't even know the names of the chords. I was just playing by the seat of my pants. I started out as an accordionist, really. I played electric accordion. But then I went to Boston in 1974 at Berklee College of Music, and there were these clubs in the part of Boston called the Combat Zone, and these clubs were really unbelievable. They had dancing women who would get, after 3 songs, completely naked. And then you play a chaser, they're off the stage, and the next dancer would come off. And I had heard from some of my elders before that if you can't dance to it, then it's not really musical, you know. I really started studying the movements of the dancers with our music, and certain things would really interact with the dancers, you know. I tried not to, you know, just play as many notes as I could, which a lot of musicians try to do. I like to play grooves that are very rhythmic, and so I just try to kick back into a very natural feeling groove, and then I enjoy featuring outstanding soloists. So I like to be like the cake, and everybody else is the icing. That was one of my most valuable music lessons that I got from the great Sonny Stitt. When I was working down the Combat Zone, I met Sonny Stitt and I hung out with him for a whole night. I'm not a big drinker, but we did share a bottle of vodka. Or maybe it was gin. All I remember was I was feeling no pain by about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and he kept telling me, Hammond, it's all about the melody. He said, you know, I can play fast bebop faster than just about anybody on the planet. He says, sometimes I do it just to show people I can do it. But he always goes back to the melody, you know. And so all my tunes have a melody that sticks to the wall, you know. Some melodies, they just have this kind of inherent thing that they get into your mind. You can't get it out. You'll be walking down the street half a day later and that melody pops into your head, you know. So I sit on the melodies, you know, and I make the cats play the melody. And then I say, hey, get out there and stretch out. But don't get too far from the tune, you know. One of the oldest compositions of mine is called Get Back in the Groove. And I wrote that when I was going through a hard time at the age of 15. It was a pretty tough time for me personally. I ran away from home. I wanted to be a musician really bad, and I had an argument with my folks, and things were just about to hit the fan, you know, so I took my accordion and I ran away from home. I wrote the tune actually on guitar, so I played guitar on it. We didn't record that until 1981. It was a lot of fun doing that session because I got to play guitar and organ. It was one of my first multi-track sessions. And then going on down the line, the track, The Sidewinder, which is the only song that I didn't write on the record. Of course, that's the Lee Morgan classic. This is a tune that we did at one of our Sunday sessions. I used to have Sunday sessions at our recording studio, and I had just come back from Germany. I met a great drummer on the flight coming back from Frankfurt. His name is Ray Grappone. I said, Ray, why don't you come down and sit in for our Sunday sessions? He showed up right on time, you know, knock, knock, knock. I opened the door. There's Ray Grappone with the sticks in his hand, and he said, where's the cans, man? You know, and I said, all right, this man's on time, great. So he sat down at the drums, and we called The Sidewinder, and, you know, it's just one of those kind of takes that was just a first thing off. It just clicked, you know. Some musicians, we captured it on a half-track tape. We have quite a span of different things that we covered. A lot of years here, 14 years of different recording sessions. I started a production company in New York City in 1983 to help get a friend of mine off the ground who was a member of the Crusaders. He was on the Street Life record. He played with Miles Davis and a bunch of other artists, and he couldn't get a record deal. I said, you know, I got this idea. I heard about public access TV. I said, I'm going to start a public access TV show. And the audio's got to be good. It comes over the cable. I'm going to put the same music on there. And the same A&R guys are going to go home at night, turn on their TV, and hear the very same music that went across their desk.
That was a little bit of Late Rent there, and we had Todd Anderson on saxophone, Barry Finnerty on guitar, Steve Ferrone on drums, and myself, Jon Hammond, on the organ of the same name. Now we have a very funky tune, also from the Late Rent sessions. This tune is called Pocket Funk. And if you all would like to know how to get some pocket funk out there, try leaving a Kleenex in your pocket the next time you do the laundry.
I started running out of dough, so I finally realized I better do my own music before I completely run out of money. And this is a true story. I took my rent money and I paid for the recording session and the musicians. And we cut these first three tracks on the record, which are Late Rent, Pocket Funk, and Lydia's Tune. So I called up the landlord the next day. I said, Mr. Lebarsky, this is Jon Hammond. I'm really, really sorry, but I had to spend the money on this recording session. And to show you my good faith, I'm going to bring the master tapes over and you can hold on to them until I get the dough together. And you know me a long time. I'm not going anywhere. And he said, okay, Mr. Hammond, we'll work with you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to Hammond Cast right now on KYOU. Jon Hammond at the microphone and at the organ with the group. This is a little thing we did
Frankfurt, Germany, in the studios of American Forces Network Radio. Yeah. The name of this tune is Headphone. And I got my headphones on now, right now. My favorite Sennheiser headphones. And right about now, I'd like to feature a real good friend of mine who came from Budapest, Hungary. He's one of the hottest tenor saxophone players in all of Europe. And he lives in Germany now, and he's a member of the Hessischer Rundfunk Big Band. Here he is now. Tony Lakatosh on the tenor saxophone. My man, Tony. You're funky. Tony Lakatosh. He's got his own band too, and he plays very often at a club that we like to play at in Frankfurt called the Jazz Keller. And the cat who owns and runs the club, Eugen, he's a very funny cat. He speaks English, but in a kind of Berlin kind of way. So the last time I was there, I was a guest at Tony, and I was enjoying the band. And I went over to Eugen. He was taking the cash at the front door. I said, Eugen, the cats are blowing smoke on the bandstand. And he said, oh my God, the air cleaner, I have to turn up the air cleaner. And he went running through the club. And I went running after him. I said, no, Eugen, you misunderstood me, man. I was just talking a little bit of slang there. But one thing, when you go to the Jazz Keller, you know Eugen's got a good air cleaner. Yeah. Give the organ player some. I'm playing the bass at the same time. One less mouth to feed. And I'm getting ready to fly to San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen. First thing in the morning on United Airlines. So we can play at San Francisco County Jail and Laguna Honda Hospital for the holidays. I'm looking forward to that because it's cold back here in New York. Yeah. That's screaming Andreas Neubauer on the drums from Frankfurt, Germany.